Good morning, afternoon, depending on where you are. And hopefully hopefully it's a good class for everybody. We are going to be looking at orthorhombic lattice work with the crystals. And I've had some amazing epiphanies this morning. Some fucking amazing downloads came in and should be a really great way to think about different crystals and yeah, it'll be very good. Obviously we start with the rules. Yes, I know. So I'm going to ask, I can do it, but I was going to ask somebody who could do the chat for me, because I need my glasses. Where are my glasses? Did I spell it right? Yeah, perfect. So that's the lattice work that we're going to be working on today. But first we're going to do our 3 C's, and then we'll do the rules and then the 3 C's. Obviously, if you have questions, please just write them down, and we will take care of it after the recording's done. And I will yeah, I just don't have the capacity to be focused and trying to manage this information and answer questions, because it's just too hard for me. So we will get there. And then we start with choosing the three C's. We'll go over them a little fast today, but it is something that we always just kind of do at the beginning. I'm going to try and make it for like 5 minutes, 4 minutes. So the 3 C's, choosing is the first one, and choosing crystals is very intimidating, especially when you first start working with crystals. You don't know how to choose it. You don't know if it's right. You don't know if it's okay. All of those questions. The many times going into a store can be very overwhelming. But I think that it is important to remember that if it winks at you, if it gives you that sort of like, ooh, look how that looks really interesting, then that's probably the one that you need. And that holds true for whether you're buying online, buying through Etsy, buying through Facebook groups. A lot of us have groups that work that we know about that have good crystals. Please reach out to anyone, and we can find we can promote good crystals, because it's fairly easy nowadays. And so that's choosing. Again, always go with your gut, go with your instinct, go to that feeling is always paramount. Now, then once you've got your crystal home, and we're not going over tourmaline, but I'm going to use tourmaline as an example. So you get your crystal, and it is connected to everybody who has worked with it or touched it since it left the ground. And there's like residue, fingerprints. And I know a lot of sellers these days who actually do a brilliant job of cleaning their crystals before they send them. So when you get them, they actually feel very much true to their nature. But not everybody does still do a cleansing when it comes into your home. cleansing can, I had incense going. You can probably see I'm in a different room. I have an office now, and this is my office. And that there is Green Tara, who is one of the bodhisattvas in Buddhism, and then my Choose Adventure. So I don't use water because just so many crystals have issues with water. So I don't use water. Rose quartz and clear quartz and amethyst, they're great. You can put them in the tub. You can, if you leave them in the sun, the color will will lighten, but those ones are very waterproof. And I have 3 big rose quartz in the tub. But other than water, there is smoke, and I had burning incense, but it burned out. It's just ash now. So we're going to pretend it's burning. Ooh, look at all the smoke. And then you can take that crystal through the smoke and imagine in your intuition, your electrical strength. Imagine this being cleaned, that in your head with your intention that it's being cleaned. And then there'll be a certain point when you go, oh, it feels different. That's one way for cleaning. The other way is through sound. And seriously, Tanya. And where is it? I don't have it. Obviously having the new setup is, there we go. So sound is an amazing tool. This is a bit big for my singing bowl. I'm going to put it in there anyway. And then you can, no, it's too big. So with this size one, I would put it next to it. Like here it is. And then I would put that, and then I would it's pretty clean. So it doesn't, when many times when you first get a stone, it won't keep going out. It'll kind of go, it'll go out and then it'll fade. And you hit your singing bowl until that point when it just has that tone. Again, breath is the same, where intention. So much about everything in all of the classes is about intention. Intention is absolutely vital. Your intention is to have it clean. And Carrie taught me this amazing way to clean crystals that I use sometimes on the go if I need something. And it is centering yourself, getting clear with your intention, which is for this to be clean. And then you blow into the crystal, and you blowing out the connections that it doesn't need, the connections that have come with it, so that it can be closer to the crystal veins all over the world. And so you can take a moment, get centered. And blow it out, blow off all those things. It works really well. I'm a fire sign, so I think air and water signs are probably better at this than me, but it's definitely, that works. And then you can put them in the sun for a short time. You can put them in the moon for cleansing. And then also the next one is for charging / programming. All of that comes in very much with your intention, what you are hoping to connect to with this crystal, or what you want it to be as close to its source as possible. And so you can hold it. I think that is, you can hold it and charge it and program it. And that comes again from slowing yourself down being clear with what you want it to hold, and then putting that into it. You can charge it in the full moon, like tonight, and then it will pull it'll with intention. Your intention is to charge up that stone, so it is as close to the veins in the planet as possible. And you can just put them in the moonlight. It does not have to go outside. It can be in a window. If you only have north facing windows in your house, that's okay. The moon can shine through the walls. It doesn't stop. It does not stop. So with your intention that the moon shine, and charge up your crystals and have them be ready if you need them for an intention, or if you just want them to be clean and to radiate what they're connected to. The sun can do the same. Short times, only a couple hours, just especially like fluorite, which really gets super sensitive to sunlight. It can change its color really fast. So yeah, so those are the ways for cleaning, charging, intention. Again, so much of it is settling yourself down, settling into yourself and your path and your journey, and then being able to help that crystal get clean and charged. And it is, so those are the three, and programming. So we are going to move on from that. If anybody has any questions, you can just ask it at the end. And so we're looking at orthorhombic crystal, and this is part of the lattice work, which is the down at the atom level, the structure that crystals form. Now each, last week we looked at monoclinic crystals. This week we're looking at orthorhombic crystals. They build on each other, and then that becomes the crystal that we see. This is very small, but there is some amazing, interesting things about knowing what the lattice work does. So last week, monoclinic, it was very much about growth in any area of your life. If it was very much wherever you direct it, it would go. Orthorhombic crystals, I'm going to go over the science part, and then we'll go into the frequency and electrical part. Am I going too fast? Somebody shake their head. Am I going too fast? Okay. I will. Okay, thank you. I will keep going. So the axis, and I do know that I said I would have some slides, and I'm just going to be genuinely honest with everybody. I'm not sure that's going to happen. If you need to see it, you can Google it, and then you can look at all 100 different kinds of what it looks like. I'm going to go with my trusty little box that we used last time, and then with monoclinic, it was a bit like this, and that axis then like this to this. Orthombic is more just a rectangle, and the sides, where it means that this is not the same length as this, and it's not the same length as this. So all three are different lengths, but they do connect onto each other, providing that lattice or that kind of ladder work. And it is, so that's the axis. Not every crystal, well, except for Morpheus, every crystal has a specific structure. The reason to know this is not to get boggled down by the science. That's not the reason to know this. The reason to know is because it carries, when you know at that very point that you have it, it carries a frequency, And the stones that go with it they carry that frequency through from this level all the way to when we see them. And this is the first time when I was doing the research and getting stuff ready. It is so true. And I was blown away about how much that energy that they've sort of given to the lattice work, how much it actually carries into those crystals that we'll talk about. One of the things about the orthorhombic is that it is the unit cell. It adds very quickly onto itself. Some are adding on at like this kind of angles. This one tends to go like this. Many of the stones that are part of this don't have a huge amount of flash. They have some sparkles, they have energy, but they don't, I can't think of any of them that are super flashy. Well, there's some gemmy, and the gemmy ones are flashy, but most of the ones, I guess that's kind of a broad statement, not totally true, but more the crystals that I found that I'm working with today with them is less flashy, but has an amazing punch, an amazing feel of energy to them. And so there are, within the orthorhombic family, there are 4 other types. We will not go into those. We don't need it at that level. It's very, very challenging. I don't quite get it, and I don't think I can teach that. But they do have, it mirrors to itself. So when it's here, and then it's here, and then it mirrors to itself. It has this mirroring aspect. And it is part of the reason when they study, part of the reason they know about the lattice work, not is just for gemologists or geologists to be able to identify stones, but it's also to see how they can utilize that structure for things that we use every day. And I didn't go into that very deep with this, but I thought it was just something that this was the first time I thought about it at that level, that yeah, that's why they know about this, is because they're looking at how it can be utilized, obviously for financial means, but I still thought it was very cool that they go through that and they look at that. Now, the metaphysical properties of orthorhombic crystals are very much about unblocking things. It is it helps with blocked energy and then moving it out and moving you forward. One of the physical, I thought this is so cool. One of the physical attributes that in the crystals that we're looking at is to assist with the circulatory system, the digestive system, those systems that need to be able to move in your body. And I just thought that was so fucking cool. I'm gonna put a little explicit sign on the YouTube. Explicit. And so it is very much, it releases, one of the things that it releases things that are in you, that you are, if you're stuck in a thought pattern or a belief system or a worldview or a behavioral patterning from our childhood, and you know that you're trying to get out of it, but you are struggling with that. I think that it is these orthorhombic crystals can help break down that blockage and then move it forward so that you can then progress, so that you can then reconnect to the energies that will be helpful for you. It's also very good, orthombic crystals are very good with having creativity. So if you're a painter or a writer, or you're needing to be more creative about a project or something, some of these stones that we'll be talking about, we can help with that blockage, the mental part of it, the blockage that we have. So it brings out the creativity. And it is protective. It has a protective feature, which you'll see in the crystals, but it really allows you to move forward. It really takes that, like, it protects you while you're dealing with shadow work, for example, where you're dealing with some stuff that can be mucky, that can be hard, that can get you stuck in it. Then it's one of these stones. This whole family is a stone that can help you move through those blockages and then find new patterns and find that are much suited to where you are today. Old patterns keep us not necessarily where we want to be, but where those patterns hold us there. And this is a stone family that can just help block those blockages out. You can't see my hands enough. I don't like that. I want you to see my hands. Block it out and then move forward. It's also good for indecisiveness. If you feel indecisive about something, it can be very good about sort of opening you up to impartial. And then it'll also help with the discipline, in terms of being disciplined enough to be able to move on, being disciplined enough to be able to move forward with what has been unblocked. So I was going to do preonite, but I'm not, because I saw this trend. I saw a pattern that just blew my mind. So we're going to talk about Aragonite, and we are going to talk about Zoisite. And the reason we're going to look at these two is because they come in a lot of different colors. And it was very interesting, because I didn't know one of them was actually was a Zoisite. And then I'm probably saying it wrong, but if someone could type in Zoisite, that would be really awesome. And also Aragonite. So these crystals are in families. Like, it's a little family. Zoisite, this is what a wild Zoisite looks like. It tends to get a bit darker. You'll see a lot of it with ruby. That's what you'll see the most of it, is with ruby. And it looks like this with ruby. I don't know if you can see that. So this,
just so you know, it's Zoisite. Zoisite.
Zoisite.
Yeah. Zoisite.
Thank you. If I go back, just slap me, okay? Zoisite. Why did I think it was Zoisite? No, I flipped the I and the O. Zoisite. Is that right? Okay. So it's allowing me to take that and then keep moving on properly. So Zoisite, and so that's one thing that we're going to look at. And then Thulite is a family member of Zoisite. And it is, I have some fun facts about Thulite. This is obviously a wild piece, and the wild pieces are easy to find. And when they get, when they it ends up looking like this when it's been, because it's not a soft stone, but it doesn't take all that well to being tumbled or being shaped. I've got this earring here is also thulite. So we're gonna look at that and go through that, and then that's one side of it, and those are the two zoisite, and then the other one we're going to look at is, now I'm all worried, Aragonite. Is that correct?
Aragonite.
Rhymes with
Aragonite.
Or you could say it like me, Aragonite. Aragonite.
Obviously, some of my learning is through books.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is when you're reading it, you know, it's and we're learning, and the properties are what the properties are, no matter how you say it. And it's kind of a tomato, you know, kind of thing, but it is a ragonite. Almost like a rag o night.
Aragonite.
Yeah, perfect.
Now I want to fuck with everybody and say it wrong. Aragonite. So
That's what I do.
What?
I said, that's what I do. I'm like, oh, so you mean agronite? Agronite. Got it.
don't do that. Don't do that, because I will get.
Sorry,
you know,
I'm done.
So I have, just so you guys know, I do actually have a very decent excuse for pronouncing these so fucked up. The reason is because I have very bad dyslexia, and when I read things, my brain automatically flips, particularly vowels. It flips letters too, but it really likes to flip vowels. So I just, Aragonite. All right, I'm going to keep going. All right, so Aragonite, many of us have seen the clusters, so we'll look at that. And then this is a tumbled piece. And then we will look at blue Aragonite, and we will look at pink Aragonite. Now, the reason we're looking at these two families is because I was really blown away that two stones that look very different in physical appearance, the frequency is amazingly, if you don't have any thulite, but you have some, it kind of goes across. So we'll start with Aragonite. I just want to call it oregano. I really do. I won't call it oreganos, but I just, some kitchen witch in this class is like messing with me. And so with Aragonite, it is, so we're going to just talk about it as a family. And it is like the physical level helps, it helps absorb calcium and promotes bone and teeth health. But it also can help with, in the healing process of fractures and treating nerve damage and providing relief for muscle spasms. And so, but it also is that talks about how it's moving things through. It's helping with that healing process, continuing to go on with the lattice structure. It actually continues exactly like along those same lines. Then this was research that was done specifically on these, so that you know what I'm talking about. And I have one on today, right there, in a little thing, a little crystal cluster. And I thought I'd honor the crystals that I'm going over. And so these are the brown. This is going to be a little bit earthier, but the frequency is the same, is that it is associated with being able to manage things and being able to help you move forward. So at an emotional level, Aragonite, is that right? Aragonite? Okay. Aragonite is a stabilizing, particularly with emotions, and it can manage. It's a great sort of what it makes me think of is a little bit of that lepidolite, managing stress, managing not being overwhelmed, not this is a very good stone for this. It is, while it's allowing things to move forward, it also then gives you room so that you have mental clarity, that you have that you are able to stay focused and realistic. It's not a super duper like one of these ones like Aura 23, or just it's not one of these super high. It's they're all special, but it's not a super high frequency. It's much more of a frequency to do located within the body. It has mental attributes, which is to do with patience and discipline, this stone, and it helps with focus and clarity, and it allows for stress to be relieved. Again, that moving something out of the way so that then you can focus on what you need to focus. Because it's a very grounding stone, it's very much a stone that allows you to feel like your energy centers are in alignment. So it's a good one to meditate if you feel like, particularly the basic, before you get up to the crown and third eye and crown, you kind of get those, it helps you get an alignment with the five standard, with the five. And it also revitalizes the energy system. Again, I think it's because it allows stuff to move out. It increases stamina while it's dissolving blockages. If you let it go, all of this stuff is, if you hold on to how things were, then it will not be able to help you. You have to be open to be able to let go of some of the blockages that we have. And this is your work. The crystal can help. The crystal can give you energy and power it and make more discipline and focus, but you have to be willing to let go of the scar tissue, let go of okay, I'll use an expectation. We're all women. And so it will help. So we're taught to say sorry. And I'm on this rampage recently about, I'm not saying sorry. I'm saying thank you. I'm saying excuse me. But I'm not saying I'm sorry. And it's a habit that is ingrained, absolutely ingrained in us and ingrained in society, that women say sorry. Men don't. I don't know why, but they don't say sorry unless they've really fucked up. But we say sorry. I'm sorry dinner's late. It's a habit. And so when you decide this is not something that I want to participate in anymore, then this and the blue and the pink as well are great stones to help with that. So now blue, Aragonite. Is that right? Aragonite. Okay. Now I'm just thinking about oregano. All of you are going to be like, God, I need some Italian food. It is actually a very bright blue. And yes, that can be, absolutely. it comes out really bright blue. It does not, that is not dyed. It's actually naturally this color. It's easy when we see things because they dye, especially agate, they dye it so much. There's a part when you're like, oh, this is really blue. Is this dyed? And so it's not. This is wild. And you can see little tiny itty bitty sparkles in it. Not big flashy rainbow, but little tiny little sparkles in it. And wow, that's the only piece I have of blue wild. I have a bunch that I would stick in my pocket. The blue adds an element to assist in communication, and to be able to, it also helps with calcium absorption, which all of them do. And it helps with moving stagnant energy out and can aid with some circulatory and some respiratory issues. The blue, particularly with the respiratory, with the throat, and the breathing into then the heart and lung system. It is again, another one, back to the brown. It is a focus stone. It's a stone that allows you to focus and to let go of the stress that comes in. This is a really great stone if you have, well, I have a voice that sounds like me, and it's not. It's just a bullshit voice. And this would be the kind of stone that would be really helpful in that moment when that repertoire and that stupid voice starts doing its shit. This is a really great stone to stop that. There's lots of great stones to stop it, but this is one that also really has that clarity. It is, with the blue, it goes a little bit deeper than the brown in terms of spiritual healing, and a little bit more with emotional balance, and that inner peace that comes with many blue stones, is that it helps connect a person to that deeper part of oneself, not flying high, but just that soul connection, that part of us that needs to be focused and being able to communicate clearly and have emotional expression. So it has that, it continues to have the brown, that Aragonite part to it, but it's a little bit more cerebral, and because of the color. And it is also one that will help you if you are struggling with being true to your intuition, that you don't know, you haven't necessarily developed a trust yet, or you're still working on trusting your intuition. This is a really great stone. The blue is really great stone for that. Pink, Aragonite, pink. So I, when I pulled them out, I was like, do I have Zoisite mixed in with my Aragonite? That's really what I thought. I was like, because they're both very pink. This one's wrapped because it's wrapped. I'll unwrap it. And this one has a bit more flash to it, like you can see the kind of crystal structures to it a little bit. Now, I did think when I first saw it, like at a very superficial level, they do look very close and very similar. Zoisite is a denser stone, and it is heavier. So this is a bigger piece of Aragonite, and then they weigh about the stone. I actually think the Zoisite might be a little bit heavier, even though it's a smaller stone. So it's more dense. And I think that's why it turns like that dark rose when it is tumbled. So with the pink aragonite, it again goes from the physical, where moving things physically through one's body, healing of the bones, calcium absorption, and just overall vitality and well-being. If you are feeling a bit lost, any of these 5 stones that we're going to talk about today, any of them will help you find your way. It's a really good, like, compass stone. Actually, I like that. It's a good compass stone. Hang on one second.
I have right here purple aragonite, which is quite hard to find.
Oh, it's
But
in
there's actually purple aragonite as well too. I've only been able to find it once. I think I have like 3 pieces. The color isn't coming through quite as much. It's not super purpley, but it is purple aragonite. And so that is out there as well too.
You can feel it. I can feel it.
So it's very beautiful. It's
Here, let
it's
me
cool.
add that. Let me add that to my ongoing. This is what I need. Purple. Because my thinking is, if I put it out into the universe, then one will come along. And it might make me broke. That's a different story, but I'm sure something will come along. So we're gonna, I'm sure that many of the attributes to aragonite is going to hold true with the purple. I would bet that the purple has a bit more of a higher mental and a more of a spiritual.
Yeah, it's to connect to your higher self and to bring that in and feel more comfortable in your skin. I use it. It's in my box that of crystals that I use with my tarot cards that I set up around me. So that higher self connection. So I do use it for that higher connection.
I could see that. I could see that also the purple would be able to help flush out some of the blockages that you might have at a higher level, and be able to allow things to come in. That sort of movement that all of these stones have a certain aspect about. So at emotional level, it's pink, and so it's going to again have a connection to the heart. It is reducing, it helps with emotional baggage. If you are overwhelmed by your emotions or by things that have happened and you need to move forward, this is a really great stone to have, because it'll allow you to get that air in, to have it moving forward, to have it so that it's a part of that process. It is a calming stone. It's not like a super peppy stone, like woo. It's not quite like that. It's much more about just centering and grounding. And it is with the heart, so it fosters love and empathy and emotional balance. Sorry, still working out the bugs of my desk. And I've worked with the blue and the brown. I haven't done much work with the pink. I'm so busted. You're right. I'm not sorry. Excuse me while my desk sorts itself out. I'm so busted. That's why I have friends like you guys. And it has that, as well as balancing one's emotion and allowing you to move forward with that. It can also help release negative thought patterns. Again, I said that with the brown, in that brown and the blue as well, and the pink. If you have historical thought patterns that can be unhealthy or that are hindering your progress towards a higher state and more sensitive state, then this is a great stone to help with that balance, because it just gives it that movement. It's a moving stone. The stones, all of them, have that sort of dealing with blockages and then moving and flushing them out. And then providing a small, safe space so that you can then move forward from there. Then there's other stones that you can bring in that could be very helpful to sort of really grow. But these are very much about getting you moving, giving you some discipline, and getting what you need done. So from a spiritual standpoint, pink is associated with the healing of emotions and emotional well-being. It also has a feature, it has the aspect of a deeper connection with your spiritual self and higher realms. It is not innately like a high frequency stone. It's the kind of stone that helps you grow and helps those other parts of you to grow as well. And it will allow for self-forgiveness and self-understanding. Pink has that color of forgiveness and compassion. And so the pink one is very much about moving some of the things that you may be holding on to, and you have to let them go. The key when I was doing work with this was it is, and it's something that I haven't said enough, and I will continue to try and say it, and that is you have to let go. If there's emotional blockages, there's mental blockages, there's patterns that we have, and stones are an amazing tool, but if it's just a tool to help you move forward, you have to let go consciously, emotionally, however you work, meditation, journaling, drawing, whatever it is that you do, you have to let go of that stuff so you can move forward. And there's lots of things, doing gratitude, doing silent things for other people, volunteering. These are the kind of things, doing things to help others will then come back and give you that ability to kind of flow with the energy that comes from Aragonite. I decided to think about oregano again. The Aragonite stone family. Now, we are going to talk about Zoisite. Is that right? Okay, cool. So we're going to talk about Zoisite.
No, Zoisite. Zoisite. Yeah.
I just want an A in there. What?
You could put an A in there. I'm just, throw a twang on the end.
No, Zoisite.
See, I was gonna say I say it zoisite, like zoisite. Would be zoisite.
Zoisite.
And so it's
Zoisite.
That's one of those things that
It's a tomato.
okay, because I'm like, now I'm confused. I'm like, shit. So zoisite. Got it.
Yeah, ruby in zoisite
Deal.
is because you hear what the zoisite is paired with. So I think that's why when you want to say it by itself, you want to say zoisite, but it's ruby in zoisite, which the ruby is UV reactive. So if you have ruby in zoisite, put that up under a UV light and have some fun.
And that's and so when I have wild ones, that's how I tell if they have ruby or don't have ruby, because sometimes you can have one like this one does not have any ruby, and I know because I took it in the closet with my light and nothing happened, and I was like, okay, not what I thought. Oh, look at that. That's nice. But then, you know, it's one of these ones that does come with ruby. Ruby is going to send it a different frequency, and we're not talking about that one today. We're talking about zoisite, zoisite. We're going to talk about it at a just as it without mixing it with anything else.
We'll just call it Big Z. Big Z.
Big Z, I like it. Problem is that there's going to be like 5 million people thinking, what the fuck is Z? I mean, zoisite. So, see, I learn every time I do these classes, I learn new things. It's freaking amazing. I absolutely am enthralled by the fact that when I do this work, I learn about things that I did not realize were part of it, but make total sense. So zoisites at a physical level, again, it is, so the zoisite family, which includes thuolite and one other one that I can't remember right now. Oh, tanzanite. Tanzanite, these are green tanzanite. I have some blue tanzanite. This is also part of the Big Z family. And tanzanite is only found in Tanzania. And obviously you can get it from your wholesaler in China, because everything goes to China, then it comes here. But it is this thing, the reason they know about it is because it is the chemical breakdown is the same as zoisite. And then I'll talk about the story that goes with thuolite, which everybody should appreciate, but especially Jordy. She'll really think about it. It's going to be awesome. All right. Physical helps with detoxification process. So we look back at what the lattice work does, and it is very much, this orthombic is about things moving, that sort of motion of things getting unclogged, things being able for that energy to flow. So it makes complete sense that it assists with detoxification. Makes complete sense to me. It boosts the immune system and also stimulates cell regeneration. There is a couple of places I found that said it was good for fertilization and for fertility, but that wasn't across the board. That was only in a couple of places that I looked. So it is, but that also makes sense when you think about having blockages, and as those blockages break down, then the cell would be able to regenerate and be able to be healthy. And so I think that that's just pretty awesome. So zoisite, again, now mentally, again, we're back to creativity and focus. Even though this is a heartstone, it is very much about that, moving out the noise and allowing creativity, allowing focus to come and join you, getting shit done. It's a stone, that's totally what I need right now. It's a stone about getting lots of things done. It will help with that. It is a stone of positivity and happiness. And it dispels negative energy, which then allows a person to then reach out and experience joy and reach out and experience happiness and bring it in. It is a energizer, and it has the pink especially, but it has that like stress reducing, anxiety reducing aspect to it, which I know that the ruby and zoisite also has that feature. So at a mental level, again, it's creativity, helping people tap into their innate talents and their own their way of perceiving things and learning. And it is a stone that helps you pave your way to a higher spiritual connection. So it's one of these ones. It gets rid of a lot of the things, it sends it back, and then it allows for their pathway for you. But like every stone that we work with, every conversation that we have about growth and about learning, is that you have to elect it. You have to, has to come from you, that I want to grow. I want to be, I want to be a better person. I don't want to cuss out every time I see someone on the road. I don't want to have road rage. And so those are things that you can break, and then you can move forward and have that. The road rage one, I'm going to put one in the car and see if it helps. I'll let you know about that. because people are either going too fast or too slow, but they're just never going the right speed. So it does mentally focus creativity, your talents, and promotes a clear and focused mind, which when you're mentally clear, when you have been able to calm the noise down, you are able to see what you need to do next. So it's as things calm down, and then you go, oh, I need to work on this. I need to work on staying true to my word, which is why I said at the beginning, don't hold your breath for slides, because every time I say it, I'm not sure I'm going to get it done. So if they get done, awesome. If they don't, awesome. Watch the video a few times. So then going on to a spiritual level, this is still with Zoisite, and it allows that grounding, and it allows for a connection to the planet. And then at that level, it allows a higher, sort of paving the way towards the spiritual realization. This is a stone, like when I said I got all this download, like boom, boom, boom. And I think it's because of the stones that I was looking at actually have that. So I was open, I wanted to feel them, and then all kinds of other stuff and information about other things popped up. I wrote it down and then kept moving. So at that spiritual level, it gives you the grounding, because you don't want, when we do spiritual work, we need to be careful that we're grounded. It's really important that you stay grounded as you do this work, because otherwise it gets kind of heady and a little bit intellectual, and it's not necessarily coming from all of your energy systems. It's coming from just learning and not actually trying to make it work, not actually working with it. And so this is a really great stone for that. And then it has some abilities in terms of psychic and intuitiveness. It is a stone that is very useful for balancing feminine and masculine energies together. It's one of those stones that helps if you have too much femininity, you can hold this so that you keep the balance. If you have too much testosterone going on, then you can get this and hold that balance and get to a more balanced state in yourself. So that's Zoisite. So I say it really fast when I say it right. Zoisite. All right. So we are moving on to pink thulite. And it is chemically, it's orthombic. It's got that structure to it. Pink thulite is a very, it's a little bit different in its frequency, but it has the same sort of breaking down the blockages and allowing things to move. Now, thulite is from Norway, and it's from a town called Thule. And that was where it was first discovered, and that's why it's called Thulite, is because the mine in Norway, in this town, was the only place that they could find it for a very long time. I believe now you can also get some from Argentina. And Thulite, okay, so yeah, it's got a little bit of sparkle in it. Not a lot, but a little bit. Sorry. And then it really is a gorgeous pink. It really is a very light, gorgeous pink. Now, I just realized that in my Thulite collection, I have two pink. I don't know what they are. I'm going to have to check later. I was going to say I think they're pink opal, but I don't know because they're very heavy. So they might be a different kind of Thulite, just a different wine or something. But it is a solid stone. It has that, when I just put it in my palm, and it just surges that energy and that creativity, that all the things that we've been talking about with all these other stones, it carries that same working feeling to it. At a physical level, it is like the overall thing with orthombic, which is about circulation. Physically, Thulite is known to help with circulation and the heart, which makes sense. It's pink, it's part of the heart center, but it's specifically those circulation things, being able to assist with that. If you have high blood pressure or low blood pressure, please see your doctor and do not use Thulite as your only source of medication. Thank you for your PSA. And so it is that that sort of has that movement at a physical level. And then at the emotional level it is again having that calming and soothing effect. But this has a little bit of a twist, is that it's actually a good stone for trauma and for pain that has caused trauma. So it's a really good stone if you've had a surgery, because surgery is traumatic, whether it saves your life or not. Whether it saves your life, it is traumatic. And so we have that trauma that can happen, and this is a really good stone to help recognize it, process it, and then help moving forward. And then again, it promotes that inner peace. It allows for the energy, the blockages to be dissolved, put aside, worked through, and then you are left with that sort of peaceful and smooth. Thulite has a very smooth feeling to it. At a mental level, it is associated again with mental clarity and the ability to overcome negative thought patterns. So if you're addressing, of all of them, I think they all help with that. But if you're addressing specific emotional issues, this would be a really good stone to have, because it's going to allow you to work through it and then give you that little push that you need to follow that path, to follow a path that is what you need and where you need to be. Excuse me, let me take a sip. Okay. Mental, did that? Oh, no. So mental clarity, getting over negative thought patterns. And so it provides a positive mindset. this is where it differs a little bit more than some of the other stones, is that it has a naturally, like citrine has a natural energizing feel to it. Just looking at a good citrine can really help. Can be like, woo, awesome. Thulite it's not the same, it's a different frequency, but it has that, like, there's some blockages, let's work through them. And then there's a settlement and a peace that comes working with this stone. It allows for, it will support if you are working on your mindset. And let's just say you have been trying to address a negative output, like you notice that you're getting into a negative pattern. And I think that this stone is a really great stone to help promote a positive mindset, self-acceptance, a greater sense of empowerment, more so than the other stones, but it allows for that break, for the crap to get broken down, and then allows you and provides you the strength to shift into a positive place, to shift into a self-acceptance place, as you are knowing that you are a unique and amazing individual. Every single one of us has that. And so this is a stone that can really help with that. At a spiritual level, it is a stone of love and acceptance and compassion. But it really has that, provides a sense of growth and well-being emotionally and spiritually. It is a stone, and zoisite as well. Zoisite as well. It has that process that goes with the spirituality of getting you to start to be able to walk down the next stage of spirituality. And it has it's a great stone to meditate with and to have as a part of the stones that you need to connect to your heart energy center or your heart chakra. This is one of those stones that's really gets into the frequency of that. Part of why it probably helps with heart issues and circulatory, but it also helps that whole well-being, that whole aspect of wanting things to be better. Pink has the compassion for universal love. All pink stones have that connection. That's to do with the color pink. But this has that where it's a bit more you're in, I was going to say entanglement, but that's not the right word. Your interconnectedness to everything else. It is not just universal love, and that it is about where are you at? What can it do? It's a let me help you stone. Not every stone has that. Some stones are like, help yourself and come back later. But this one is like, if you're there, this is a great stone to have because it will help energize you to be able to move forward. And intertwinedness. Yes, exactly. And it encourages harmony and unity and empathy for all of our aspects in our life that we have. This has that little bit of extra oomph. And this week, I will be carrying a small piece of thulite and a blue Aragonite. Aragonite, that's it, Aragonite. So I will be carrying those to see, and I will let you guys know next week how I find it. Something shifted. I don't know if it was, like I said, something shifted this morning, and it was just a lightness that I haven't felt for a long time. And I'm so appreciative and grateful for that shift and for being able to feel it. And then now I've got a couple of stones that can give me a little bit swift kick in the butt for me to keep going and not get stuck or blocked or sabotage myself. You know, when we think about relationships, a lot of times we see how we sabotage the relationship. I think we do that to ourselves as well. I think we self-sabotage ourselves. And whatever it is that we don't want to, whatever it is, we block our progression because I don't know, it's not my fault. Whatever comes up, whatever's, you know, we all have our voice. I have the I'm not good enough. And that is total bullshit. But it does take work on my end to let go of that pattern that I have held on to for 30 years. So I think Foolite has that. It just has that. I might actually take this raw piece instead of this. It just has that harmony, that empathy across the board, that being able for things to happen. And I am super excited. So that's the stones for today. And that is sort of a orthopic overview. And again, don't get hung up on the title of the thing. It's much more when you see it, and then you see a list of crystals that are in it, that you have an idea of a baseline, not the full thing, not the full spectrum of that crystal, but that baseline frequency is going to carry through. And I think this is true. I'm going to make a broad statement here. I think this is true for each one of the lattice work pieces. That's why it's good to learn. It's not about being a geologist or a scientist. That's not it. It is about learning the frequencies that go with them, so that when you read somewhere, oh, it's an orthombic crystal, you have a little bit of information. Okay, so it's going to have it's going to be able to help me break down certain aspects, and then it's going to give me a bit of a push and a boost and energizer. It's going to have that flow with it once we get over those blockages. And so I brought it back around, and I think that next week we'll be doing another lattice work. And then I have a feeling that I'm going to start seeing the patterns. I saw it with the monoclinic, but it didn't click. And so it now clicks. I get it. Like I got it. So that is class for today. I'm going to end the recording, but thank you all for coming. I am grateful and appreciative for every one of you.
So before you end though, I just want to say, when you were talking about like trusted crystal sellers and stuff like that, like everybody needs to do their due diligence, talk to each other, come into the chat, and remember that Jordy is the most trusted seller we could have.
Yes.
You know, she cleanses her crystals, she, you know, and she goes to the ends of earth to make sure that nothing is fake. You know, and utilize the chat that we have on Messenger to share, you know,
and I
Facebook groups and all of that. But Jordy, you know, and you don't, you know, one, she's on Whatnot, and two, you can always message her privately and she can always send you pictures as well too. But like Tanya was saying, you know, sometimes you have to do research on the people before you buy on Facebook. A lot of that is, you know, scammy. Like malachite will have really, really dark green stripes, but will never have black, you know, like, which most people don't know, you know.
But I will say on that, and then you go into, a lot of times malachite is combined with azurite, and azurite has the black. And so it's kind of you have to know what you're looking for, for sure. But thank you guys.
Yes, and I'm so sorry, Carrie. Thank you for pointing that out, because that's absolutely vital. I also make bracelets, and so if there's a specific kind of stone that you want a bracelet of, then I can find it and make it, and then you can sell it. I can sell it to you. I guess you could sell it if you want to, but it's probably start losing there. But it is yeah, Jordy's definitely, and
Yeah.
she has
And
great.
if you guys have, if you're looking at a Facebook group, I mean, pictures can be deceiving, let's be real. But, if you guys are looking at something in a Facebook show and want like an opinion, take a screenshot of it, and you can always, put it in the chat or, something, and we can try to figure it out from the picture. But just be careful. And it's also good to know where your crystal buyers source from, and that they know what they're doing.
Yes.
Some people jump in and they, don't know what they're doing, so they don't realize, as much as they want it to be real, they don't realize that it's a fake thing that they have. So definitely go with someone who's been selling for such a long time and has that knowledge and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. The other thing I was
because
just a little point about malachite. Malachite is heavy. Like when you hold it, it is a heavier stone. We talked about the difference between fluorite and pink. There's a weight difference, definitely a weight difference. And so when malachite's heavy, so you get a piece of malachite that's about this big, it's not going to be light. It's going to be heavy. And I think you all know the story that I went through. So I put my stuff in these little drawers, and I went through my malachite one, and about 1/3 of the pieces that I had were fake. And that's that's collecting over a couple years and getting pieces, just lots of different sources. It was never one place, but I went through it and I was like, mother of goddess, how could this be? I can't believe that I was so fooled for so long. But that's where I really felt the difference in weight. If you know something is malachite and you've got another thing that's the same size and it's half the weight, it's probably not real. And the black, obviously.
yeah.
But yes, there's lots we have a very knowledgeable crystal group. Sometimes I have to say that I'm going to stop the recording. Thank you, everybody, and then I will chat after that. So I'm going to stop the recording.